Thank you. Maybe I will use the opportunity to add, that's why I was asking you the floor, but I will just be very brief. One, on the amplifying events, the question was directed to me. Of course, Maria had helped, and it was taken care of, but just would like to add a bit. As you know, the amplifying events are like what we said earlier. It could be stadiums or places of worship. And we have two countries that are good examples, especially with these two events, where the two events actually fueled the COVID epidemic. One is Korea, early days actually, and it was a church. As you know, Korea had the second largest number of cases in February after China, and the transmission was in a church, and the virus actually got the fuel from that crowded area, and they registered the second largest number of cases at that time. Of course, they moved quickly and suppressed the transmission. As you know, South Korea is one of the models now. And then the other event that everybody knows, the other amplifying event, happened in February again, around, I think, February 19 in Milano, when two teams played, and the full stadium was packed with 40,000 spectators. You know, the virus again in that stadium got the opportunity and you know, used that event to spread. So what we're basically saying is, the best thing would be to avoid this kind of crowd, and governments to do everything to avoid these amplifying events, so that the other economic sectors can actually open up, and the economy can go back into life. I think we can live without you know, going to the stadium, and we're doing that. Teams are playing in stadiums without spectators, but with live transmission, so people can see it from their homes. So if the risk is high, it's better to use that model without spectator stadium, teams playing. That's one model. And the second is in places of worship. What can be done is like what the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia did during the recent Hajj. A limited number of people, well spaced, distancing, physical distancing, properly observed, with masks and other precautions. I think they have done the annual Hajj. So that's why we said it can be done, but with serious precautions. But the best would be to avoid it, especially if the risk is really high. Many countries went into lockdown because the virus was faster, because it used amplifying events like the examples I just said, and then the governments resorted into lockdown in order to be ahead of the virus. So to stay ahead of the virus, avoiding amplifying events or taking the maximum precautions when we want to do it will be very, very important. And as I said earlier, WHO wants the economy to open up. Lives and livelihoods cannot be separated, and we should do everything to open our economies, to open our schools. But since we know a lot about this virus now, we need to do everything to suppress transmission. Then on the demonstrations last weekend, I fully agree with Mike. We should listen to what people are asking, what people are saying. We should engage into an honest dialogue. And at the same time, though, to those who have demonstrated the past week, What I would like to say is the virus is real. It's dangerous. It moves fast and it kills. And we have to do everything to protect ourselves and protect others. I felt really sad. I'll just tell you a story that colleagues told me when they asked in one country about the high death rate, and some said, no, these are the elderly dying, so it's fine. No. When the elderly is dying, it's not fine. It's a moral bankruptcy. You know, we should not be morally dead. Every life, whether it's young or old, is precious. And we have to do everything to save it. So the best approach would be something that works for all of us to stay alive, for the young, for the old. And that's why, even during demonstration or wherever when there are crowds, and especially amplifying events, we should keep our distance, we should wear masks, even if we may have a mild case, we should always remember that there may be another person who could be young or old who may have severe condition and could even die. But accepting someone to die because of age is moral bankruptcy at its highest. And we shouldn't allow our society to behave this way. We should care for one another. And there is a balancing act that can help us to protect our health and also to move ahead with our livelihoods. It's always possible to keep a balance. And that's why I'm stressing that it's always possible. Then, finally, with the COVAX facility, I would like to use this opportunity to thank Germany. Germany has joined the COVAX facility today. And also, we're negotiating with the rest of EU members. One possibility we're checking is for the EU members to join as a bloc. I think the best way to end this pandemic is through solidarity, through cooperation, through oneness. The best way to save lives and the best way also to move into faster economic recovery. Whether we like it or not, we're living in a globalized world, we're intertwined. The only option we have is to move together and to fight this enemy together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tedros, on those very moving words. I will now close this press conference and remind you that we will provide the audio file and Dr. Tedros' remarks right now, immediately after this press conference.